Which one is the best, an Epson EcoTank printer or a broader color laser printer? Well, in this video, I'll break down the differences so you can choose what's right for you. I'll compare them in a few different categories, including cost, maintenance, print quality, and print speed. So let's get started right away. Let's talk about cost. So the upfront cost is slightly cheaper with the EcoTank. For example, an ET2800 like this one, it's quite an entry-level one, will be around $200 US. A broader color laser printer, again, this is an entry level, one of the cheapest one, will be $250. At least at the time. I'll put links in the description for these. Maybe the price will go down with time. I have no idea. Then we have the running cost. And here the EcoTank wins again. It will cost you around $40 to get a pack of new ink bottles, the Epson 522, for example. These are rated to last around 4,500 pages according to Epson. And from my own experience, well, 4,000 pages is quite normal to get out of these ink bottles, as long as you're not only printing full page pictures. The broaders don't have any ink cartridges. It takes ink toners like this one, and there's 4 of them for the yellow, magenta, cyan, and black. Replacing all these 4 toners will cost you a lot more. For example, the TN223 broader toner, that's the original one, will cost you around $269. And they're rated to print at around 1,400 pages, which is not bad, but comparing to the 4,500 pages, it's definitely a fraction of that. So not only the toner costs a lot more, but it lasts a lot less. Now, obviously, for both of these printers, you can get third-party ink. You don't have to stick with Epson ink or broader toners, but even those are more expensive in case you're getting the broader. Now let's talk about maintenance. This is where the EcoTank falls short, in my opinion. It needs regular use to prevent ink drying or clogging. And when I'm talking about regular use, I would say print at least once a week, a full page with all the colors, or even 2 pages or 3 pages, just to make sure. If you let this printer sit for a month or 2 months without touching it, without using it at all, well, when you come back, you may have some surprises. I mean, by then the ink would have dried out, and they are selling kits that helps you clean the print heads, clean the internals if the ink dries out, but you're not sure they work. And if it doesn't work, well, you probably have to trash the printer because repairing it is not worth the cost. On the Epson, you also may need to do an occasional head cleaning. Sometimes, again, if you don't print that often, let's say you didn't print for a week and a half, you may have some thin lines going on in your print, and by doing a print head cleaning, you fix those. But again, you just need to take the time and do that cleaning. There's also a waste pad where all the excess ink goes, and that too needs to be replaced. It's not that expensive, fortunately, and you can do it at home. I know older Epson EcoTank printer doesn't allow you to do it at home, but now they fix that issue. But it's still something you need to keep in mind. Now, the broader color laser printer is low maintenance. So the toner does not dry out. So you can stop printing for a full year. I don't know, you forgot you even have a printer, come back, plug it in, connect, and print. Everything will work. Since the ink is not liquid, it doesn't dry out. Actually, inside of these toners, there's powder that does not expire. So if you're somebody that takes long breaks, maybe go on vacation from time to time that are quite long, well, this could be a good option. There's still things that you need to replace. So if we take out one of these ink toner, the toner itself is the gray part. The rest, let me just detach it here. This is called a drum, and it needs to be replaced every 18,000 copies. At least this is what Brothers is telling you. From my own experience, again, you don't need to replace it that often. I usually simply make sure it's clean, and if everything works, I simply do a drum reset on the printer and continue printing. It's very rare that you'll have to replace these, even if Brother is harassing you to replace yours, because obviously they want to make some money. These last a lot more than 18,000 copies, at least in my own experience. Replacing all the drums for all these colors cost around $167. It's definitely not cheap, but hey, if you have to do it once in the life of your printer, I think it's still worthy. There's also under these toners a belt unit they call that has a duty cycle of 50,000 pages according to Brother, and this as well needs to be replaced at a point. I bet most people will never change it. If you're using this printer in a business situation where you're printing thousands and thousands of pages every month, yes, that thing will worn out and you'll have to replace it at a point. Talking about maintenance, the Brother printer is a lot more reliable from my own opinion, but also simply by looking on Reddit and seeing what people have to say. People are able to keep their Brother laser printer 15, 20 years or more, while it's very rare to hear such a story coming out of Epson EcoTank printers. They have a lot more moving parts, and this means that there's a lot more risk of things going wrong. So if you plan to buy a printer that will last you for at least a decade, I'll bet my money on the Brother. Now let's talk about print quality. If you intend to buy a printer to print mostly full-size pictures like what you're seeing right now, there's no question. The Epson EcoTank will give you much better results. It's able to print at a higher resolution, and not only that, the colors are also definitely more accurate and a bit less dull comparing to a laser printer like this Brother. Here I have two examples, and funny enough, I think most people won't even notice a huge difference. But if you put them side by side and you look closely, yeah, you're gonna see that the EcoTank is doing a better job. For example, let me give you a closer look. You can see the color gradient, maybe. I mean, my eyes can see it definitely. On the laser part, it's a bit noisy over here. While on the EcoTank, we can definitely see the gradient going on, and it's very smooth. It has a very smooth transition in this yellow over here. While with the laser, it's quite drastic. It goes yellow and then black. Over here, there's a kind of smoothness that, you know, it looks better. Also, this would be a bit hard to show you on camera, but the EcoTank has a bit more details, especially if I look here where the fog lights are, and then I compare with the laser printer. It's not much, but still, I can see the difference. Now, don't get me wrong. This Brother laser printer still is able to print nice pictures. It's just that not at the level of this EcoTank. The EcoTank is also able to print on glossy paper, while with the laser printer, you'll have to get special glossy paper that costs a lot and it's not available everywhere. Colors of the Brother are a bit more dull as well. As you see here, this rod has a gradient of blue, I would say, with blue, gray, and this is how it looks on my display. Well, when I print this with my Brother here, it's mostly gray. There's no blue tint that was present in the original file that I have downloaded. But if you're printing text with some small images or graphics, stuff like that for your business, both of these printers will be able to give you a very beautiful job. This has been printed with the Brother. The text is extremely sharp, and even this picture looks great. Now let's talk about print speed. The EcoTank is slower, and this is very typical with all inkjet printer comparing to laser. To give you an idea, the Brother is able to print at 19 pages per minute, while this one over here, I think it's at around 10 pages per minute. I'll put on the screen, I'll research this, but for sure it's able to print a lot slower. And again, this is not the fault of the Epson. all inkjet printers, at least the entry-level ones, will be slower than laser. So who are these printers best for? Because in my opinion, there is no winner. It really depends what you intend to do with them. So here I have a few questions that you need to ask yourself. Will I print photos or mostly documents? If you're gonna print mostly photos, get the Epson EcoTank. You won't regret it. More resolution, better colors, and you'll be able to print on glossy paper. Do I print daily or occasionally? If you're not gonna use your printer for a week or 2 weeks at the time, or sometimes even more, get a laser one. It will cost you more, but the ink that is inside of your broader printer will last you years. While over here, if you have a busy life where you don't pay attention and you forget printing for weeks, months, unfortunately, your printer will not last long. Am I more concerned about the cost or the long-term reliability? I think that's a big difference over here. If you have a tight budget and you don't want to spend more, let's say, than $200 for the entire year of printing in color, well, the EcoTank will do the job quite well. It comes included with the 4 ink bottles that will last you 4,500 sheets of paper, which is amazing for the money. The broader will cost you more, but I guarantee it will also last you a lot more. So if you're the kind of person to buy a printer and keep it for a decade or two, and don't want to spend more money on that, and is able to spend a bit more at first, I think you'll be rewarded, since these are real workhorses. So as you see, it really depends what are your needs. Again, if you want to get either of these printers or even another one, go through my Amazon links. I get a very small commission every time you purchase through them, and it helps support my channel. Leave a comment down below if I forgot to mention anything. Comment about, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.